Right, has two.
Call a meeting to order, please. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One. Secretary, please call the roll.
Division 1,
Here.
Division 2,
Here.
Division 3, Division 4,
Present.
Division 5.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Next will be public comment for any items that are not on the agenda. If there's anyone in the virtual world or here present, we'd like to hear from you now. You are limited to 3 minutes and understand that the board is not able to comment, ask questions, or engage in any discussion. Is there anyone there? Oh, it looks like we have someone. Sue, go ahead, please. Oh, she disappeared. She disappeared. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay. Sue, unmute, please, and begin.
Hi, I'm speaking on the lake levels that will be affected by the upcoming spillway repair at Scotts Flat Lake. I see there is an agenda item about the campground closures only. Do I need to wait to speak or can I proceed now?
You can proceed now, and you can make your comment now, and then you can
Okay.
wait and come back and maybe get some engagement or dialogue if you'd like.
Thank you. I was informed of the upcoming spillway repair from a homeowners association board member that the lake would be closed for 2 years. However, today's meeting agenda shows the spillway repair project is expected to take 4 years. I have the following questions. Why is the project taking 4 years to complete when Lake Oroville repaired both of their very large spillways in 6 months? How low will the water level of Scotts Flat Lake be during those 4 years? If the boat ramps end up out of the water, can they each be extended to continue to allow boat access? How will Grass Valley and Nevada City continue to receive their drinking water if the water is being diverted for 4 years? How is the public being made aware of the details of this project? And lastly, what is the notification radius for the environmental impact report? We would ask that NID keep the Cascade Shores community and all other adjoining communities and households informed of the details of this huge project, as it will definitely most negatively affect our quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will just simply say, please hang on and come back for when the item is discussed. Yes?
And just
Okay.
a point of clarification, the lake itself will not be closed. Boats will still be able to have access.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if we could say that now or not.
Yeah, we'll just clear that up.
Yeah, the lake will not be closed. The levels will not be in peril. We will still be providing water as we have always done.
Great. Thank
And
you.
I welcome you to stay tuned and listen to the other part of the presentation.
Great.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment for items not on the agenda. Next, let's move to the consent agenda, please. Items 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Public comment.
Division 5,
One moment, please. I got ahead of myself. Is there public comment on any of these consent items? Seeing none. Now please call the roll. Thank you.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3, Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes, thank you. Okay, moving forward to general orders. 4A, appoint a real property negotiator and authorize the general manager to negotiate sales of surplus properties. I believe Jennifer or Greg, who's taking?
I'll go ahead and
Okay, thank you.
start. So for this item is simply to adopt resolution 2025-40, appointing your general manager, Jennifer Hansen, to be your real property negotiator as we enter into a series of property negotiations for homes that have been deemed as surplus lands,
Oh.
the district. And we will be discussing those in closed session this afternoon. And so this item specifically is to just fall in line with government code There's the government code.
54956.8.
Thank you,
Thank
Dustin.
you.
That's my introduction. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the board? No, okay.
What areas, well, we'll be discussing them later. What areas would you be negotiating?
What areas?
This is
Right.
a government code requirement. Anytime you're doing a public agency is doing a real property transaction, so it covers all areas.
So check the box that you're doing it and
Yeah.
we're copacetic.
It allows us essentially to discuss the negotiations in closed session. If you don't do this item, then
Yeah.
theoretically, you're not supposed to do that.
And we have to do this in general session in order to
Yeah.
discuss them in closed session.
Just clarification.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board or comment? I see none. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, entertain a motion, please.
Move to adopt resolution 2025-40, appointing the general manager as a real property negotiator.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Next, item 4B, contract between Nevada Irrigation District and the City of Grass Valley for water supply, amendment number 2. Is this
You can
you, Jen?
handle this
I
one.
thought maybe.
A big thank you to Tricia for coordinating this effort. It was a little bit of herding cats, dealing with another agency and private property owners. This is essentially just an amendment to an existing agreement between Nevada Irrigation District and the City of Grass Valley related to water supply. And so what the amendment allows us to do is authorize Grass Valley to service 5 parcels for treated water. This is a requirement under government law, is specifically LAFCO. Anytime there is a public utility providing service, you cannot provide service outside of your service territory unless special permission is provided. So it's a pretty routine item, but it does need to come before the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Questions from the board? Comments?
I couldn't find specifically on the map where this was near Navarre Meadows and Highway 49. I was having trouble with the.
Between Hanson Brothers.
That?
I think it's between Hanson and MEC or.
That's what I thought.
It's in that.
Mhm.
I don't need the specifics. I generally, that's what I thought was down there.
Yeah,
Couldn't see where it was.
that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Was there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we will have a motion.
Madam President, I'll move that we approve a contract between Nevada Irrigation District and the City of Grass Valley for water supply, amendment number 2.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, we have 2 seconds.
The Mandarin twins.
Mandarin.
Does that make-
Give that second to Director Stevens. Thank you.
Okay.
And Secretary, please call the roll.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 3, Division 2,
Aye.
Division 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward, we'll look at item 5, workshop item, Scotts Flat Campground, Gate 1, options related to the spillway construction access. And I'll just make a brief statement that this is a workshop, meaning that anybody can ask questions at any time. Sue, if you're still with us, I hope you are, you will be able to ask more questions and have a better engagement and answers. So with that, we will turn this over to Jennifer or?
Well, I'll kick it off and then I'll turn it over
Okay.
to Gabe. As the board
Gabe.
is aware,
Okay.
we have the Scotts Flat Spillway Replacement Project. This is a requirement of Department of Dam Safety as well as FERC, and it is to repair the spillway from its existing condition. So there is a couple of options related to access during construction. It's going to be lots of heavy equipment, lots of tree removal, lots of concrete pouring. And as you are aware, we currently have a campground adjacent to the future construction site. So we are just looking for input on access options. We've identified several different alternatives for accessing the construction site, but did want to obtain some feedback from the board as there are costs associated with those different options. So Gabe has prepared a little presentation and we will jump into it.
Okay, good morning, board and public.
Good morning.
As you know, because I've been to the site with many of you, the primary access to the Spillway project work will be through the Scotts Flat Campground 1 area, depending on how we lay out the project and the roadway to it. The campground's down into the canyon of the lake, and then the spillway is obviously across the dam and down in its own little narrow drop canyon. So it's all pretty difficult to access. And so there was a question earlier about the timeline of the project. I'm going to kind of just comment on that briefly because it could change. But the input we've had from contractors so far is that a systematic approach to chipping out pieces of the work dry season by dry season is probably the most efficient to getting the work done economically. And so the 4 years that are kind of laid out, and hopefully they're generous, and some contractors will try to make time because time is money to them, is that 1 year will be related to improving access around the existing spillway, cutting some trees, improving the roads and the landing and staging areas there. And then the actual spillway work would take 3 years and would start with at the bottom part of the lower chute, and then there's something called an upper plunge pool that we now have to do, would be the 3rd year. So in total, that would be 4 years. And I have worked with a number of contractors that come in and they to have a different crew arrangement, and they think they can make more money if they kick this out faster, and maybe they'll do the whole shoot in 1 season. They'll propose that to us. And, you know, if we can get in and out and we're comfortable with their scheduling and planning, then we might like that, and it could go faster. So this, I think 4 years is an outside kind of timeframe. And as alluded to earlier, the lake will not be shut down. There might be some minor lowering of the lake if it's coming in full in late May and we want to start work in May of a couple feet. But it typically, as I understand the operations, we're already ceasing the spill by May or a couple weeks into May. So this is a really marginal change in the lake itself.
Mhm.
So thank you. It's already on the screen. So we have generated 3 options for how the access might come through Campground 1. And the one that our consultant, HDR, had been working with my predecessor on is option 1. And that is to, let's see, make sure I'm looking at option 1, is to close the upper part of the campgrounds and have the road go through. And I think I have a little laser pointer. Does it work on the screen? Yeah, the dark blue line here. The campsites in green would be closed. God, I can barely see my own pointer. And so the campground that would be open would be at the lake and the group site. And we'd have to create some fencing to protect the public from construction and to provide security to the construction area. And just in general, you know, now you have construction corridor with big trucks and daily vehicles and workers and equipment and materials coming through a recreational area with kids and bikes and stuff. So it's the security and the separation are pretty important. So anyway, we talked about, well, would it be more cost effective to close the campground and have it be more secure, but obviously at the cost of losing the recreational facility. So I went ahead and kind of created a couple permutations. Is there a better way to do it? And came up with option 2, which is just to keep the group site open, because we understand that's of value to the community and might be a little less impactful than trying to keep the lakefront site open right near the road access to the construction site. So it creates a little more separation. And you'll see in both option 1 and option 2, we need to create a new entrance road, a new temporary kiosk, and there are probably other signage and security provisions that we'd have to include. And I'll mention those briefly when we talk about the cost of each of these options and why we might make an economic decision in addition to a political community one. Option 3 is to close the lakefront sites and the group site, move the driveway to the primary road down through the campsites that goes right through the lake sites to the dam and ultimately to the spillway, and just leave the upper sites open. That has the advantage of not needing a new kiosk, a new entry road, and it doesn't have any road improvements down by the lake site that would require, close proximity to the entry road and construction fence and campsites. But it has a significant disadvantage is that now you have campsites that are separated from the lake. And then option
Would there
4,
be access to the lake? No.
there really wouldn't be, not here at this site,
Correct.
at campsite 1.
Right.
So you'd just be camping, maybe there's some spots where you can see the lake, but you're pretty removed from the water. You're just camping in the woods, which might be desirable, but you're not at the lake.
And how many trucks a day going through?
I've been trying to figure that out, and it can vary considerably. There is a proposal by the design team to have a batch plant on site where they make the concrete on site. And that would reduce the number of trucks quite a bit and have some other construction related improvements, but also some cost. The improvements being not needing to have aged concrete travel to the site, and the expenses that you have to add and build a batch plant. So if we have the batch plant, there'll be less concrete trucks coming through. If we don't have it, then there'll be more trucks coming through. I don't have a count on.
No range, ballpark?
I feel hesitant to say because I
But
don't
it's
have that number.
I would think it'd be considerable.
I think it is considerable, and a lot of it would be early in the morning, either with the cement trucks coming through. They want to come in when it's cold and dark, at 5 in the morning. They want to start their concrete pours if they're coming from offsite. But at a minimum, there'll be all the workers coming through pretty early, and then materials throughout the day. I can try to develop numbers and come back to you, but I really don't want to throw out a number.
But a batch plant, you would have trucks coming in with gravel and concrete and sand or whatever.
You would still have
Mix, and
materials.
that would be a continuous mix going on.
Yes, it probably the materials would probably be coming in regularly, and then the batch process would probably happen all very early in the morning and placed
Is that
early.
faster?
Having a batch plant on site?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Save money.
Cost, is there a cost? So that's my question.
What is the cost
The
of
cost of
having
the
it?
batch plant and where would it be located?
I don't know the cost of the batch plant. I just know the cost of the overall project
That would be
numbers that are being
additional.
been thrown around. And I just know the overall project costs that are being discussed by our consultant, but not specifically with the batch plant. I don't think they're very different with and without the batch plant. The batch plant will cost a bunch of money. If we don't do it, then it's offset by the added cost of trucking in cement.
Yeah, and like Rich said, you'll have to truck in all the aggregate and the cement. Anyway,
Will we have to, or is there an on-site source of gravel?
I don't
No,
believe
no,
there's an on-site source
there's
of
no-
gravel. They might be able to repurpose some of the existing cement if they crush it and make the aggregate out of the
Which I like.
demolished spillway.
Yeah, and remember, so we're going to be a little bit limited on answering some of these questions because this particular item is just related to construction access. So some of
Right.
those further details related to construction methods, we'll talk about at a later date.
Got it.
Thank you,
But-
Jennifer.
Gabe, I do have a question.
Yeah.
How many employees, I'm thinking of parking, and how many employees do we think will be associated with this, one? And two, with regard to the access issue, in the batch plant and all that stuff, we're still going to have campers in gate 2, and I'm wondering about the noise of a batch plant versus trucks, or is it the same or worse or better?
It's different, but the same as far as,
Like, would the
The
batch plant be
intrusive.
running 24/7?
no, not likely. It would likely run in the morning. It's very common with large concrete pouring jobs to have a batch plant on site.
Mhm.
It's typically less expensive and the trucks are not as heavy coming in.
Right.
So less road damage.
Uh-huh.
But the means and methods of construction will somewhat be determined once we bid the project out. So that's why we simply can't answer some of
Got
these questions right now. But there will be different levels of parking required by construction employees throughout the project, depending on what they're doing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Rich?
So if a local group does not get the bid on this, they're going to need housing. Can some of these campgrounds be used as housing for them? RVs?
We could theoretically consider that in the future, but yep, it would be an option.
Okay.
Yeah,
It'd be an offset.
Right, maybe.
No.
There, you know, there's probably a project for a larger contractor from around the state somewhere. I can't say that for sure. And they're well-versed in mobilizing their crews from around the state and housing them in some way, either in hotels that are part of the project bid and their mobilization, or they can bring in trailers. I have seen that. And maybe letting them stay on the site is a small offset. I imagine it's small, but
I would imagine really small
Gabe,
No, I've seen it all the time.
are we going to bid this as a
revenue.
project that says this is the accomplishment we want? You figure out how to do it, or are we going to give them any direction on how they're going to do it? Meaning, are we going to say you have an option of a batch plant or not an batch plant, and they're going to bid it that way? Or are we just going to say we need concrete of this spec at this location?
that is a great question and not one that I've answered just yet. You know, I like to leave all those options up to the contractor to give us the best price. In this case, we might want to stipulate that we'll get the best concrete with a batch plant because it won't age in transit, and stipulate that. So that's something that we need to review with our consultant and, local concrete vendors. And at times, we're going to need a lot of concrete. They might not be able to get it all from a local vendor in time. I don't know that. And they might need the batch plant. So that's a detail I don't know, but a good question.
And the follow-up on that would be basically if we're going to be repurposing the existing concrete, et cetera, that's going to require a crusher. Is that going to affect our needs for location, et cetera? You know, I'm looking at taking out campsites versus areas to stage stuff, et cetera. So processing on-site concrete will take up probably a little bit larger area than bringing in the belly dumps or what have you of all the aggregate to be used. So as we're discussing removing sites, I was just curious, how much footprint do we need? Have we looked at that?
I have not personally looked at it. I think the whole site looks very constrained to me from a staging perspective down in the bottom of the spillway where they're going to largely do, implement and lead the operation. So that staging area it's going to be constrained, and it's going to make the project a little harder. Contractors are innovative and will come to us with what they can do, and maybe they'll have a value engineering idea where, hey, if you give us some more room, we can save some money. But I wouldn't imagine we want to, if I understand your question correctly, use some of the campground for a crushing staging site. Because for a couple of reasons. One, it'll impact the campground, but two, it'll involve breaking up concrete, hauling it up out of the draw of the spillway to another site to crush and bringing it back to a batch plant at the bottom. I think it'd probably all occur at the bottom if they could even repurpose the concrete. And we might not allow that depending on quality control.
Okay, thank you.
Gabe, I have a further access question. Oh, did you want to?
Oh, I was just going to make sure, just for a point of clarification, that the board is thinking along these lines as well, as the consideration of the different options that are before you today are largely related to the district needing to make a decision about whether or not to develop a separate plan set and essentially a separate mini project to build these access roads, which would take additional time if the
And
board
money.
chose to go into that direction. The actual staging and use of the site will be defined and delineated on plans once we kind of get some of these questions answered.
But if we need the whole area up here, 74, 75 or whatever it's called, as a crushing grounds, that's going to affect our decision on which one of these options we'd want to go with, is kind of what I'm getting to.
Right. I think if the board chose to keep the campgrounds open, there would likely be limited closure of some of the sites for staging. But I think the biggest consideration for the board is the associated costs with building the temporary access improvements that would be required to keep the campground open, and then safety considerations. Construction sites can be extremely dangerous, especially when you have children around. And as we all know, kids love to explore while they're camping. And so that is really where my concern is coming from.
To bring that back on, the pedestrian access across the dam, et cetera.
Will not be allowed during construction.
So I have an additional access question. So on the Cascade Shores side, because, having been down to the spillway, and it's actually much closer on the Cascade Shores side in that little access road and so on, is there any thought of using that as some kind of access, and I'm just concerned for the residents on the Cascade Shores side. Has that been looked at or, and dismissed, or what do we know about that?
Yes, so in the current planning, all access will be through campsite 1 from the north side of the dam
Mhm.
to the.
You mean
spillway.
gate 1? Gate 1? You said
What did I-
campsite 1.
Gate 1. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, gate 1, all the campsites from gate 1
Uh-huh.
campground. And in the environmental document that's being drafted, that is reflected, and that was the direction of the district prior to my time here.
Mhm.
Subsequently, when we were out there together, you know, we said, well,
Right.
we're going to have equipment across the spillway. That looks a little iffy, just given its narrow geometry and the size of equipment we would need to do work on the south side. And so I've subsequently gone out there. I've driven Pasquale. I've driven down the dam road, and it's quite viable to bring equipment down there. But that's not currently part of the project.
Mhm.
I would like to make it an option for some staging on that side for like that we have to build a staging area. We have to clear some trees for excavation work, for limited work there, with the majority of the work still coming from through gate 1.
Mhm.
And I say that because you know, I don't really like the idea of equipment on the spillway itself. So
Right.
we could allow some limited access from the south side. I keep thinking it's the north side, but the south side
Uh-huh.
for some improvements. But the bulk of the traffic and the bulk of the work from the north side, because the north side's where they're going to get to the bottom of the spillway, and the lion's share of the work will be
Mhm.
staged and implemented from.
Mhm.
So I'd like to create the elbow room for a little bit of access from the south side.
It seems like that would be a good idea. I just want to make certain that if we go that direction, that we have the opportunity to hear from and include the residents at Cascade Shores who would be impacted by that.
Right. I agree, and that's part of why I say it would be like a select or a limited amount of traffic for
Mhm.
work just on that side. And the traffic wouldn't have to go through Cascade Shores. It could also come down Pasquale Road. And especially if
you'd
it's limited.
My question.
You'd still have to get to the parking lot essentially. Well, anyway, I'm not going to revisit that, but I'll leave it to you all, the engineers, to figure out how to do it. But it seems like there would be some impacts to the residents there at Cascade Shores should we go in that direction for even part of it. So I just want to make sure that we notify, bring them in, hear their concerns, and then have the opportunity to address their concerns should we go that direction for any part of it.
Absolutely.
So all the access given, you know, maybe Pasquale Road will come through gate 1, nothing from down below through Lower Scotts Flat.
No, that's not
Just want to put that to bed.
right.
Mhm.
Right. You can barely get down there with a truck.
Exactly.
Four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's,
And second of all, option 4 has no CEQA. Now CEQA, in my mind, not only costs money, but it can blow the project to be much longer in duration if there's all kinds of challenges. So no CEQA on number 4?
No, seek one, all of it. So, but right now, the project and that the project description and the CEQA as drafted is for option 1. However, in the interim, we've all discussed, well, God, this is complex and there's some liability and exposure and some cost. Is there a better option, or would it be economical for the district to close the campground, right? That's why we're here discussing it. And so to help steer, if we could go to the table on the budgetary cost, I kind of threw some costs together and some non-monetary factors just to kind of weigh it all out. And if we're able to share that on the screen, it's first table in the report. It's pretty small. You might have to zoom in on it.
One more page. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's very small if you can zoom in on that. But effectively, option 1, 2, and 3 are some permutation of sharing the campground, closing part of it and having the driveway through it or around it with security fencing and possibly modified inlet roads and kiosks. and they're all about 1.5 million. There's a little spread here, but in the report, I wanted to note that this is very broad stroke, and they're roughly equivalent, options 1, 2, and 3, from a cost perspective. And then option 4 is closing the campground, quite a bit less. There are still costs incurred because this campground generates a net revenue for the district. So just closing it loses some money.
Well, that
But
was
it
what I
was-
was going to ask. Is the 800,000 a net or is that a gross number?
That is a net,
A net number. Okay. Thank you.
yes. And then it's double that if we're trying to keep parts of the campground open.
Mhm.
And just to clarify, the CEQA analysis for the project generally, it includes access in it. So this is not a separate CEQA process.
Oh, good.
What it's referencing is potential mitigation required
Mhm.
as part of CEQA
These are
associated.
the alternatives for access.
So option 4 closes gate 1, but it doesn't close the boating.
There
Correct.
is no current boat launches at Gate 1, so there will be no impact to boating on that side. They could still use Gate 2.
And how many campground or campsites do we have at Gate 2?
Approximately 80.
Okay, because I was going to say, if we choose to go the direction of closing Gate 1, we still have open campsites and a boat launch at Gate 2.
Correct.
Okay,
And
and you're
also-
saying there's 80 campsites.
Yeah.
So this isn't
approximately.
like shutting down the lake,
No.
Armageddon for,
And also, just to be aware that during construction, if there is a point in time where the risk is reduced based off of the construction that's actually occurring,
Mhm.
the district can make a decision to open up the campground for one season.
Right.
This does not mean that we cannot open the campground at all during that particular time.
Mhm.
What it does mean is that we would not be constructing the temporary access required to keep the campsite
Got
open
it.
during all of construction.
Okay.
Which is a minimum $500,000 savings.
It's basically a whole new, it's a fairly significant project.
It is a significant number.
Yeah.
Okay.
On option 4 here, I don't see any possible fencing. Are we going to need, because the public has access to everything, are we going to need to put in fencing to basically keep our staging areas and everything like that?
I think on option 4, I did have some fencing at the dam and
Mhm.
at Scotts Flat Road to prevent people from just driving in to the site.
I'm talking about a teenager that decides to walk along the shore, then come up and play on the gravel piles and test out the machinery and.
So, yeah, hey,
Day off.
great question.
Darwin.
Part of the project itself at the spillway will require security fencing there 360 degrees around it.
Okay.
They will have to keep people out of that work area.
Mhm.
And so-
Contractor knows how to do that.
Yeah, I
They
think
they do. I just didn't see a cost for that. Maybe that's something.
it'll be in the.
That's on the
bids.
project site. This is really the campsite.
Those costs would be incurred regardless of what option was selected. There's still security requirements required for the
Matter
dam
what.
under any of the considerations.
Yeah, and I like I said, I did have a little bit of fencing. Gates at roads.
Gabe, thank you for putting this together. Looking at this seems pretty obvious, and maybe it's pretty obvious to me. Nobody wants to be camping at a construction zone. And unfortunately, and I think the best answer is really option number 4. And if I don't see any other way to do this. And fortunately, it's also the least cost option. But looking at it, even in the best case scenario, having some of those open and then being, you're camping with your kids and then trucks are rolling through there at 5 a.m.
It's not a quality
It's not a
experience.
camping experience. So
Right.
I
You're gonna
think
be up
really,
for shit anyway.
unfortunately, our best option is just to close this.
Yeah.
And if that's not obvious to everybody else, if I'm missing something, let me know.
I'm
having
having the
a-
lunch and convince me.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Buy me lunch and convince
Yeah,
me.
there we go.
Me too.
Do you have something, Chris?
Yes, I'm completely opposite on that, because I've thought about this ever since we went out there 2 months ago or whenever we went out there. And looking at it, I go, I don't disagree, people don't like it, but people are gonna come, right, Monica? They're gonna come even if they know there's construction trucks there. The first year, they may not come back, but I'm leaning towards option number one because of the keeping it as open as we can and for the goodwill for the camping community. And although they're mostly out of towners here, but from that standpoint, I'm leaning towards number one, but I certainly understand the discussion around closing it completely. And if it was my farm and I was doing something like this, I'd close it. Right? So,
What is your farm?
was that a conflicted answer?
Yes, it was, in fact.
Public hasn't spoken up.
Well, I'm taking.
It's a workshop.
Yeah, it's a workshop and they have.
They can come in anytime.
Yes, exactly. I do want to sort of state, since Brad started this off, that I want the public to know that this is, in fact, a regulatory requirement. This is not something that we just decided to do. That these repairs are really necessary for safety. That, my concern is, number one, is to protect the public safety and also the liability for the district should somebody get hurt. We would have some measure of liability. And the offsetting thing for me is that Gate 2 with 80 campsites will still be open. And so there will be camping available. There will be boat launch available. And I think, as I have learned, that it's common when people do, or when agencies do construction and upgrades to campgrounds, that they close for a period of time. So I really think that option 4 for me is where I'm leaning towards for all of those reasons. And I'd like to hear from the public or any other board comment.
Sue.
Yeah, we have Sue. Go ahead, Sue.
Actually, I'm going to hand it over to my husband, Robert.
Hi, my
Oh,
name
okay,
is Robert.
great.
We are Cascade Shores residents, so you know where we're coming from. I just would like to have you guys think about, or your engineers think about more of using the Pasquale side entrance. I have kind of looked at the number of residences that would be affected. It's about the same. The road width about the same. The distance about the same. I will agree with you that your option number 4 is probably the number one thing. But my biggest concern is the time factor, 4 years. It's such a huge number of years. Hoover Dam was built in 5 years. This is nowhere near that project. Oroville Spillway that went out, it was rebuilt in 6 months, which was way bigger than this project. So I don't know if you haven't had the opportunity to speak to engineering firms or various people that do that, but it just seems so absurd with the numbers. I know you want, one of your biggest concerns is safety, and I totally agree with you there, with people and dogs and horses and bears and everything we have around here. And that you're concerning or not including the Pasquale entrance as a possibility, and using the campsite side, even if you have to close campsite, as the secondary source of trucking or vehicle access, because it would actually allow some other options that you may be able to use by not having to close it all the time. So those are my concerns. I don't know if they're questions or if they're just comments, but that is what I look at. And having been involved in large projects, I just kind of see that there are a lot of distracting issues that you're addressing, which I understand, but the big picture is time. I can't believe it's going to take that long. I know we have a winter, but so does Oroville. And I don't understand why the Pasquale side entrance, I know there has to be new road put in, and I know it's narrower from the bottom point of view, but like one of your people that had mentioned, that construction guys are very creative, whether they have to make a new roundabout or dig out the edge of a hillside. I mean, that's like nothing to them once they see it. So that's what I would recommend, rather than limiting yourself to what you are right now. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Abe, did you want to address any of his comments?
I can say that Oroville.
Timing especially.
Yes, on Oroville, I know a little bit because I had some of my team at my previous job work on that. Part of the reason that was completed in a season in less than a year was that there was no spillway they had to completely replace it, and they couldn't leave it partially done and completed over a few years. which we're going to try to do. So we're going to try to build part of it systematically in a controlled weather season and then get out of the way for the winter and come back. Oroville didn't have that option. The spillway was undermined and had to be completely replaced. And they had a legion of contractors, multiple contractors and specialists, all being paid double time, triple time, whatever you want to call that, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know the final number, but I don't know. It may have approached $1 billion.
Is it $1 billion? Yeah, it's over.
And this project is with, little NID here, trying to complete a project that's regulatorily driven in a systematic and controlled way that controls cost. And, you're saying we're saying it's 4 years. And one of those is just to improve our access in one smaller project, clear some trees, improve the roads, and then get out of the way. That's not going to really be any impact related to the spillway. And then the spillway would be 3 and maybe condensed to 2, as I described earlier. I'm just sort of laying out a schedule that the consultants thought might be viable and controllable, and then we'll see what the contractors can do.
Mhm.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and one point to remember is that the reason why we're structuring the schedule the way that we are, so we can still utilize the spillway when Scott's Flat spills, if it does,
Mhm.
so
Right.
it's winters. Otherwise, we'd be constructing a gigantic bypass of some type. It would be
Mhm.
extremely costly.
Well, and we have winter. We actually have snow here.
Right.
And Oroville, I don't believe, has snow and the kind of, they have rain, but
Yeah, so year 1 would be access improvements, site improvements,
Mhm.
tree removal. Year 2 would be half of the spillway. Year 3 would be the second half of the spillway. And then we have the plunge pool. So if the board recalls, the original plan was not to completely replace the plunge pool. And now we have been directed by DSOD to replace the plunge pool. So there's significant concrete removal that also has to be done. So that's what kind of kicks it into those 3 years, because we do need a functional spillway during the winter months.
got it. Thank
So
you.
if you're looking for direction, we got option 4, option 1, 4,
I'm undecided.
and
He's still thinking.
I, option 4 cuts the project costs almost in half.
Mhm.
And I think it's safer. It gives us more latitude to get work done faster because we're not having to,
Work around.
dodge campers on that one side. So I'm option 4.
Thank you.
I throw a red herring into it.
Sure.
What about option 5? Is there a way that we can keep the group camp open and eliminate the rest of the place? Just out of curiosity.
Is that option 2?
No, option 2 actually allows for,
It keeps it open, but
Keeps half the.
it's similar to
Well, gr-
option 1.
The group,
Oh, 3.
as I stated earlier, the district, as construction progresses, and if we make a determination based off of real site conditions that in one particular summer we can't open the group site, then that is what we would proceed with. But I would caution everyone related to group camping and the number of people and the number of children. It does tend to raise the chaos of the camping I would be more concerned about risk. So I wouldn't bank on continually open the group campsite.
Yeah, let's double faucherie.
Monica.
Right.
Oh, good. Hi,
Go,
Monica. Thank you.
And also what we need to remember too is that we do have 5 other campgrounds. I mean, including Gate 2, that we have 5 other campgrounds that we can send people to. That's including Greenhorn as well. So although I would love to keep the campground open, safety. And I drive those roads during the summer when we have our big church groups and our big groups, and there are kids everywhere.
Mhm.
And with the fencing and everything that's going to be going on, they're going to be super curious.
Mhm.
And, safety is number 1. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But we do have other campgrounds that aren't always 100% full. So we have other options as well to send.
Got it. That's what I was
Yeah.
feeling, is that with 80 campsites just down the road, it's not ideal, but we have options.
Yeah, Gate 2 will be booked out, but we have Orchard and we have Long Ravine and Greenhorn and
I have an idea that just came to me, or a concern actually. What about people because didn't you tell us one time that you did a study and about 80% of our campers come from out of the area? Is that true?
Yes, that was
Okay.
a while back.
So then I wonder about folks who don't get the message and how we get the messaging out that these campgrounds are closed. And then people who drive up from wherever, I'll go, oh my gosh, well, heck with that. We're just going to
Well, we don't,
first camping.
Scotts Flat doesn't get a lot of drop-ins because we're typically,
Uh-huh.
we're full. I mean,
So I
during
was
the week,
concerned really about dispersed camping and how do we control that? If, is there a way to do that?
We would control it through the reservation system.
Exactly.
Individual, we wouldn't open the reservations. So as Monica stated, there isn't a lot of drop-in camping that occurs at Scotts Flat. And there's not a whole lot of drop-in camping that occurs at developed campsites anymore because they are typically full, specifically on the
Mhm.
weekends. Dispersed camping is usually related to the dispersed camping areas where that's more of a common way to
out in the
use
middle
them.
of nowhere. that
Got
kind
it.
of stuff,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. More comments or questions or anyone from the audience?
Well, if the group campground is kind of going to be up in the air and all, because I understand this is the only group camping we have in this area. Is that correct?
No, that is
No, I
correct.
have group in site in gate two.
There is also
There-
one?
Mhm. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I stand corrected then. So I'd lean towards more option 4 then also.
Okay.
So we have 4 option 4s and an option 1, Mr. Beerwagon.
Want to hear what the staff recommendation is. I haven't heard
Our staff recommendation is option 4.
Yeah.
it across the board.
Across the board.
Okay. I'm convinced.
Okay. So last call for anyone from the public that would like to comment or weigh in on this. Okay, seeing none, I think we have direction. We can move on.
Good job, actually.
Wonderful,
Wonderful.
wonderful
Clear.
job. Great analysis. Thank you so much.
Also appreciated the field trip. That gave me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That was everything, wasn't it?
Made it easy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, everything looks good on paper, right? Engineers, everything looks good on paper, but you get out there and you go, uh-oh, there's a hillside there. Uh-oh, there's a
Yeah.
rock outcropping there. Uh-oh.
I was in favor of just building a new road down there until I saw the site. And I go,
Right, right. Okay, we shall move on to general manager's report.
I have one, we're not going to have a slide on that spillway, are we, for a fun park?
That's how we're paying for
Skate
it.
park.
Yeah,
Fun.
BMX and skateboards.
I like that. The BMX would be a hoot.
Wouldn't
Okay.
it?
Moving along to general manager's report, please.
Risk.
Just a couple of items to report. I'm extremely excited. Does anybody know what August 15th is? You get a prize.
Garth Brooks' birthday?
No. Nope.
100%
That was my
the
guess.
return of water.
Nope. Anyone? Mr.
you-
Beerwagon should know this.
It's his birthday.
My brain's dead.
You know it.
It's our 104th birthday.
104th.
It's our 104th birthday as a
Right.
district. So the district was formed in 1921. And just for members of the public, for free, you can download the Delivering Water for Life, the 100-year book. It's really cool.
I saw that on the,
The history. So
on
if anyone would
Facebook.
like
That
to
was
download
great
it, please do
offering.
so. And the only other thing I have to report is we are still receiving water from PG&E. We're looking good. We're essentially flatlining. So things are looking a whole lot better from a water supply perspective. So we will likely make it this year unless something else happens.
Look at that.
I know I should not have said that.
knock on wood.
Huge shout out to water operations and everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Chip and his team,
Way to go.
all of you.
The
Every,
maintenance team, they have been, hydro team, hydro has had to walk water down through South Yuba Canal multiple times, which is a very large undertaking, but staff has worked tirelessly to
Mhm.
ensure we get water in as much as we possibly can through this whole situation. So
Walk
huge kudos to them.
water. Did you put a leash on it or what?
Yeah, you put a leash on it and make sure it doesn't run away. No, when South Yuba Canal is dry, debris can build up and then it can
Yep.
cause clogs and spills, which then
Mm-hmm.
can damage infrastructure. So typical practice is to walk the water down to ensure they can remove any debris that have collected while the water's moving.
did they find more rust?
We didn't have as many problems this year as we did last year. Last year, we had significant issues with the canal being dry for so long and the algae kind of dying in it. And then once the algae got removed, it drug holes into numerous canal flume sheets. So there was some very significant maintenance issues that we did do a lot of repairs during an outage this year. So we still have to keep on top of it. The South Yuba Canal will continue to be a maintenance challenge.
So I saw water coming out of Wise Powerhouse. You go, wow, they're getting water down there.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
Are we generating any power at Chicago Park? Those places?
Yeah, we've been generating power, but remember Chicago Park and those, the larger hydropower houses, we sell power based off of availability, not actually the power that we sell.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
How about Rollins?
Hmm.
Good. So the system's running.
System's been running.
Yay.
Ooh. Nice job.
Terrific.
Hopefully that's the norm and not the anomaly.
Right. Hopefully it's our new normal, but there will be future outages associated with repairs to Spalding 2 as well as to the,
Because we still have
Intake
to
tower.
get through and the intake tower.
yeah, Spalding 2 still has some issues. They need full replacement of the wicket gates as well as I believe there's some other type of issue I'm not clear about yet. And then there's still an issue
Intake tower.
related to the intake tower in Spalding. And then there's also the low level outlet at the dam. So PG&E still has some work that will be scheduled. So anticipate we're going to be juggling some shortages moving forward for probably the next couple of years.
And they're no longer trying to sell off that portion like they were before.
They are no longer moving forward with the divestiture of the non-nuclear assets into the subsidiary company PacGen. But I am unclear as to what their future plans are as to whether or not they'll re-establish discussions related to individualized pieces of infrastructure. But we'll keep you posted on that.
Okay, moving to Board of Director items and reports. Who wants to start?
I had a great time at the Nevada County Fair, and anybody that missed it, shame on you. That's a celebration of agriculture and community, and the opening ceremonies were great. We have 4 of us there, is that right?
Were there 4? I never saw you. Were you there?
No, Rich was there. He's
He was
behind us.
behind
But
us.
Earl-
Behind-
Earl missed it. Next year, you got to catch it. It's no, it's good.
And we have to go to Placer County.
Yeah.
I do go to Placer County.
Oh, you could.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
I did what Brad said.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I went to the opening ceremonies and, they're always inspirational
Yeah.
and it really highlight the importance of agriculture in our region. And I really enjoy going. So that's my comment.
Talking about inspiration and birthdays, right? On Monday, August 11th, it was 35 years for Garth Brooks's Friends in Low Places.
Thank you.
Just had,
Hey, Earl,
we're all good, huh?
just say,
We go down a different road here.
okay, that's,
Mandarin crop looks good this year. I'm getting lots of water to put on it, which is very nice.
yay.
I'm keeping the fire hazards down. I'm actually brought in goats to prune a whole section.
Love those goats.
Not the mandarins, the green belt area
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
And
For
so,
safety, we're talking.
yep, for safety. And so between the water and the goats, hopefully the fire hazards going down very well.
What do you do after October 15th?
Harvest the firewood that I find underneath all the blackberries.
But also, I mean, you get water,
No, after, I'm usually okay. There's some leakage a little bit and all.
you get enough.
Well, next we will take public comment from anyone for items to be considered in our closed session. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment on those items? Seeing none, we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you, everybody.